Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show on Minions of Zoo. I'm Hammer, and I'm joined by two of my favorite Wednesday night show hosts, Jen T. Maxey.
Hello.
And Terry D. Mantis.
Hello.
How you doing, Terry?
Not bad. How are you?
Okay, I did some work on the panels for the show, so things are going to look a little different to start off with, but we'll get to that in a minute, because I just remembered that I did it. How you doing, Jen?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm actually okay for a change. I got some good sleep, and I'm wide awake, and I'm not sick. I didn't eat anything today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm hungry, but I'm animated, so that's all that really matters.
Yes.
The quick show note is, apparently, yes, I have made some changes to the show panels. Not so much, very much with the Rumble one, but the background for the YouTube one is no longer white bubbles. It is now blue sun rays. I know, it's drastic. It's amazing. How could I ever think of changing it? But I've tried to make a point of straightening up the icons as well. They're all like in a straight row, top to bottom, because before they were all, you know, how much time do I
Very
have?
slightly off.
It's been 3 minutes. Like I said, they were all fucked up before. I mean, one was a little bit left, one was a little right, one was too high, one was too low. They were all screwed up. They're all perfectly lined up now. So I hope you guys appreciate all the hard work, 5 minutes, that I put into this. But I kind of like the blue because it doesn't interfere with the background. And most of the things that I have on the screen are blue anyway, because all of our chats are pretty much blue because everybody has a wrench next to their name. Then all the monitoring stuff for how the stream is going, that's mostly blue. So I figured it would be all right. It kind of fits. It's okay. Right. Anyway, Terry, you want to say hello to our friends in chat?
Sure. So over on Rumble, we have Jack Gunsky, Tier Alexander, Jack Gunsky, Corsten, Cynic, and right at the end, Cannibalistic Wizard showed up.
Awesome. Jen?
Alrighty. So for our YouTube tier is our first guy, and we got a Keeverdam, and we got a Blake's tier, and we got a Terry, and we got a Jack, also known as Quippers United, and we got a Costin, and hello. That's it.
Okay.
And yes, Keeverdam is pointing out that it's time to end already. It was actually time to end before we even went live on Rumble. That's how early Jack came to end the stream.
Jack was on the stream before we even started streaming on Rumble.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess we just don't have to work tonight. Take the night off. Jack ruined it for everybody. It's time to go home. Or we leave. Anyway. Probably should go over some of the suggested topics for the evening.
Sure.
Finals, while we are talking, I believe 9:00 p.m. Eastern, Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley are having their final debate tonight on CNN. They're the only two people there. Christie is not there. Ramaswamy's not there. It's just DeSantis and Haley, and I hope DeSantis busts her up.
Yeah, well, I think he would.
Yeah.
From what I can tell, no one likes Nikki Haley.
Yeah, it's not that I like DeSantis all that much. I just don't like her. She's a fucking warmonger.
Yeah, that seems to be the prevailing opinion from what I've seen. Is everyone just really hates Nikki Haley.
Yeah. Hunted, our young friend Hunter Biden, was held in contempt of court today for walking out during his appearance in front of House Senate committee. So it should be interesting to see where that goes. But I think they're onto his ass. I don't think they're gonna let him go. And then finally, Expelled. I don't know if you've heard about this, but in New York City, students at specific schools have been told to stay home and attend class from remote because
God.
they're storing migrants in the school
Yeah.
because they've run out of hotels to put them in. So now they're putting them in schools.
Basically, who cares about the kids' education? We've got
Right.
migrants to take care of.
Right. Welcome to the world of the Democrats. So those are the topics today. We were talking before the show started on YouTube about music, show music. And believe it or not, Jack came up with a bunch of good suggestions. So for the next month or so, you're probably going to get a couple of suggestions from Jack every week. So if you don't like the suggestions, blame it on him. Not that you've been blaming it on me, because
if you do like the suggestions, that is Hammer's excellent discernment in choosing the best songs from the list.
I will definitely take all the credit and make sure he gets all the blame. Oh, Johnny Hellcat, our Thursday night host, is in chat. Hey, Johnny.
He is.
So is there anything you guys want to talk about, or do you want to start with topics?
We can talk about how much Jack Gunsky ruined everything by showing up before we started. No, I think the Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis thing, I don't know much about either of them, really, but I've not seen anyone speak positively about Nikki Haley ever. So I don't think she's going to do well.
She started off as representative to the UN from the United States, and she did a
I remember
serviceable.
that. Yeah.
She did a serviceable job there, and I actually liked her at one point. But when she turned her attention away from the UN and started getting into local politics, federal politics, how she runs her campaign and the things that she says have made her an enemy to me. First of all, she's a huge feminist.
Well, that's never a good thing.
And so that immediately turned me off, of course, because that's an issue with me. I have issues. But it's not just that. It's how she's running her campaign, who she's fighting for. She's flip-flopping a lot. So there's a lot of she's made a lot of mistakes. First, she said she would never run against Trump, and now she's running against Trump. Right. It's things like that, and all of her donors are corporate and government, have government and corporate ties, so military stuff. So she's not particularly for the people.
No,
all of her stuff is turning very much into.
I've definitely seen a lot of accusations that she's like pro-war. She's very
She's a
military.
warmonger.
Yeah,
She definitely is.
It's also her time in the UN kind of left this impression that she basically was a Republican version of Hillary Clinton.
Oh, that's what you want to hear.
Like, no offense, but like at first I had respect for Hillary, and then I started looking into her. Oh yeah. And then I started looking into her. And that's the problem. You start to look into her and you're like, oh, she's always been vile.
Oh yeah.
And that's the problem with Haley, is she comes across as, okay, I could, and then you look into her and you're like, no, I don't want you anywhere near a seat of power.
I forget the exact scenario, but I seem to remember Nikki Haley was talking about needing real names for like social media or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was Laura Loomer of all people who said, you don't even use your own real name.
He doesn't. Her name really isn't.
No, it's Nimrata is her real name.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a good point. Like, as much as I don't like Laura Loomer, she had a point. It's like, if Nikki Haley's going to call for real names on social media, it might help if she was using her actual real name when she did it.
Yeah, it's just a lot of things like that. A lot of missteps. I mean, it's not like I'm going to vote for either one of them anyway, but I hope DeSantis puts her in her place. I think he can do it. I think he can.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think if I had a vote, probably that Vivek Ramaswamy guy, because he seems the most interesting. Like, he seems like he actually wants to like be a dick and troll the other candidates a bit.
He's also young. I
Yeah.
like the fact that he's still young. Like, I am kind of tired of the old farts being the ones in charge of everything.
Yeah.
And the crazy people. Obviously, I have to say that because my guy isn't necessarily that old, but he's certainly crazy.
Yeah, the fact that we have two people that are running that are in their early 70s, late 80s.
Yeah.
One of them is mentally not there in any way, shape, or form,
No.
and the other one is not what he used to be either. So
No. I mean, I like Trump, but I think I kind of think his time has passed. Like he had a good was it 4 years, and then I don't think he's got another one in him. Kind of, I think it does need to be someone a bit more. I don't know. I don't want to say younger, but younger.
Ramaswamy basically is a younger Trump.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Is like that's why I like him. Is that he seems like he's kind of got that sort of smart ass.
Yeah, doesn't take shit from anybody.
Yeah, he's willing to troll the Democrats and his other, like the people that he's running against. Like he's kind of got that sort of rebellious, I guess, spirit where he's like he's got kind of the not exactly the personality of Trump, but that sort of that sort of disrespectful approach to his opposition that I find endearing.
And the media.
Yes, well,
yeah, it's the same hate for the media. Ron doesn't have a problem with the media by comparison.
My all-time favorite tweet is by Aaron McIntyre, where he says, "You don't hate journalists enough. You think you do, but you don't."
What do you think of Ramaswamy, Jen?
Oh no, I genuinely like him. Like I said, I appreciate that he's a younger guy. But I also appreciate that he's earned his money. As much as they want to target him for taking advantage of programs that exist, that's a good thing. That's what they're there for. If you can take those and use them to progress in such a way where you become like, isn't he like I don't know, isn't he like a billionaire almost? Like,
I would assume so.
So I like the idea of having somebody in charge who's proven that they're capable of, when they set their mind to it, they're going to do it.
But put it this way: poor people don't run for president.
You can't. You really can't. Otherwise, you're beholden to other people.
Yeah,
it is an unfortunate fact that I do think that. Yeah, I know our politicians are bought and paid for. So having somebody who's like, I got enough money that I can at least say fuck you to that kind of shit.
Yeah,
I'm kind of like that.
That was what I liked about Trump, is that if someone tried to bribe him, he's like, fuck off. It's like, I don't need your $5 million. I've got billions.
And I did like that he was willing to stick up for other members of that were going. Like, he's not wrong. Like, if you don't set a standard for yourself and you're not willing to step up with it, I do think a lot of the people running are just a bunch of corporate shills. Like Haley's she's just easy one to pick on because she's really bad at lying. Or at least holding her story straight.
Yeah. I remember, she didn't come out and say it, but she kind of implied that her being a woman was like a good reason to vote for her. It's like my heels are weapons or whatever it was that she said.
She made two comments. One was about the heels, her heels being a weapon, and the other one was if you want something done, you have to have a woman there to do it.
Yeah.
So she made two comments. That's how I knew that she was a feminist, because those are typical feminist type of talking points.
That's stupid. Don't use your gender as like a reason to vote for you.
That's what the left does.
It's also really cheap in this day and age to keep using the same method over and over again. It's not winning. Like, if I think about world leaders where they were female, I wasn't around as a sentient being when Margaret Thatcher was.
Yeah, I was going to mention her.
But I don't doubt she did push a little bit of, yeah, I am a woman. But you know what? I don't think she spent the entire time dwelling on it. I think
I was going to say the opposite. I was going to say I never saw her say, "I'm a woman, therefore." I mean, obviously, like I wasn't there. I wasn't in England in the 80s, but from what I've seen of her, she was very much just a ball buster who just took control. She didn't say, you know, I'm a woman, therefore you have to be nice to me or you have to treat me differently. She was like, no, I'm just the prime minister and I'm going to do the job as a prime minister. And
I think that's why I do base it off of that. You know, like I do appreciate that what I've heard from her after the fact is that, like, no, not everybody loved Margaret Thatcher, but I thought she was a good leader. At least as far as somebody in charge. You're not gonna not everybody's gonna win over. You know, but you compare her to all these women coming up, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't want to vote for you if I think you're trash as a human.
See, I will always like Margaret Thatcher because there's an Australian reporter called George Negus, and he interviewed Margaret Thatcher, and she completely destroyed him. It's like, I like you, lady. Do that again.
Yeah, it is just like that with me. Like, yes, I do think that women can be leaders, but I think it's a particular woman. Not everyone's up for the job. And if you're trying to win by your titties, that's whining. I see that as whining. And I don't want a leader who's a whiner.
No, of course not.
I just want a leader. So just do the job. Like, just do it.
Yeah. Like, that would be the same as if, like, a male president was like, because I have a 6-inch dick, you need to. It's like, well, what does that have to do with your ability to govern? It's like, no, it's like, don't bring physical attributes into it. They're irrelevant. As a person of 5 foot and 10 inches tall, I happen to think it's about as relevant as that.
Yeah. Lisa said, compared to Maggie Thatcher, most of the leaders following her have been lacking. You know, I kind of think that way too. Like I said, I don't think she was a perfect leader, but everybody you've had afterwards has been almost criminal.
I say the standard test, have George Negus interview all of them, and then I will judge based on how badly they destroy him. And then that can be the benchmark for how good of a leader you are. How much of a dickhead do you make George Negus look like?
But I mean, that's part of it, though. I mean, to be a leader, you should, you should be quick on your wit a little bit. You should know what you're talking about. You should know what you're doing. You should have confidence. Does that mean that you might be a bit of a narcissist? I get that that's what they were going after Trump for.
Yeah.
But most leaders are probably narcissistic.
Well, I mean, I don't think you run for president unless you have at least some level of arrogance / overconfidence, because you need that to even choose to run in the first place. Never mind succeed. So the kind of person that's going to successfully become president has to have that kind of personality. Same as, like, all the Hollywood actors are extremely self-confident because you need to be to make it in that industry.
Yes, the person who runs for president is the one person who should not be president. I mean, kind of.
And
it's the same thing for, like, police officers. People who decide to be police officers, they're the ones that you got to be careful of being police officers.
Yes. But Kividan says, interesting last name. Presumably she means George Negus. And yes, it probably would be misread in modern times.
Reminds me of the Ferengi in Star Trek. The Grand Nagus.
Oops.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that one too.
One thing I will say, if by some weird crazy fluke the Democrats pull an absolute moron move and actually take Trump off the ballot,
Oh God.
I would absolutely en masse vote for Vivek. I would en masse vote for Vivek. I know it's not Trump, but if you can't protest that, like if you can't riot and like burn down your Capitol for that level of like lack of actual democracy.
Oh look, I'm not American, so I'm only allowed to vote for the Democrats.
Like that's that, you know, I'm not saying that as a second best. Like I kind of do feel like they're doing everything they can to take this race out of like they just don't want him even remotely involved. And I'm like, that's as undemocratic as you can be.
Right.
You know what I think? This is my conspiracy theory. So preemptive disavow for YouTube's benefit.
Sorry,
I
you're
think
right.
they're doing the same thing that they did in 2016, where they think they can beat Trump, so they're doing everything they can to push him to the front runner position. So, like, everyone in 2016 was like, if Trump is the candidate, we've got this. There's no way that buffoon can actually win an election. So they were doing everything they could to prop him up as the guy who should run. And then he won the election. So I think they are making the same mistake. And they think, oh, if we can get Trump as the front runner, oh, God, no one's going to vote for him after his last term because, you know, they think it was a disaster. So I think that's what they're doing. I think they're trying to prop Trump up so that he's the candidate they have to beat.
And the thing is like, I don't think they understand. Like, I think a lot of people would be happy to move on to Vivek. Like, there's more than enough people that I've heard say it's not that they need to have Trump. I think a lot more people are being a little bit dishonest, and they do feel like Trump was cheated from the last run.
Oh, he was.
I absolutely thought he was. I feel like we were cheated up here. Like, they will never call out Trudeau's run as having Chinese interference, even though everything looks like it did. You know, even his own team were the ones who investigated it.
I do like how Matt Christensen keeps referring to Biden as the most popular U.S. president of all time.
80 million votes, folks. 80 million votes.
Yeah. But the other thing, too, is the bullshit line where they're like, well, you can't question an election. You're causing conspiracies.
Yeah,
yes.
They
really would have to call on Al Gore about that one then, because Man Bear Pig has been around for a lot longer than just South Park.
Even Hillary denies that she lost the election to Trump.
Like, it's just unbelievable what they're trying to do in it's so much gaslighting over and over and over again with an abusive partner, and it's politics. And
that's what propaganda is for, to gaslight the public.
And it's just when you get so sick of it that you're just like, I hate all of them. That's when you get that's when I think things are getting close to being bad. That's when I start feeling like Tim Pool might be right. Civil War. Kidding.
And Cannibalistic Wizard over on Rumble says, we need someone with like 40 years left, not 4 to 10 years. Presumably meaning when we were talking about Trump's age.
Yeah. I like that Trump is healthy. Like, good on the guy. But I'd like to have somebody who could carry on after him. That's why I'm like, I really do feel he was cheated. Because if he was doing the rest of his run here, things would be different. I'm not saying they would be great. You might still have people rioting because the Democrats just don't know when to stop. But the between the immigration thing going out of control, I am glad that it's hurting the Democrats, but that could backlash on all of you.
There would be one massive benefit if Trump wins, and that is Grover Cleveland would no longer be the only one to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. And so I think just to rub it in Grover Cleveland's face that he should win. Sure, I know nothing about Grover Cleveland except that one thing, but let's take it away from him.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd be upset.
Yeah.
I don't know how many years he's been dead. I'm guessing it's quite a lot.
Well, we'll see what happens. I'll tell you right now. I don't even know if I should admit this, but I'm pretty scared.
Yeah.
For what's going to happen. I've never been that way before. Well, all the things that have happened in my life, I've never been scared. But I gotta be honest, I'm a little scared about what's going to happen with this, because if the vote goes against them, there's, it's gonna be. I'll just say, I'm not going to say what I'm thinking. I'm going to say it has a potential to be bad. But if the vote goes for him, it has the potential to be bad.
Yes.
This is a lose-lose situation.
And for the record, Grover Cleveland has only been dead for 116 years.
Only.
So I think he's still in quite an emotional state. I think he would be devastated if Trump took this away from him. And JB says Grover the Muppet is better than Grover Cleveland. Maybe. Like I said, I know literally nothing about the man other than that he served 2 non-consecutive terms.
Well, I can tell you that a lot of things are probably going to change the minds of certain people. Hopefully the dumbasses who voted in the policies that they have. And I am kind of looking at New York, because I've been playing this little game with some of my American friends, at least the ones that I know that get the drift of cold that I get, because I can give you a heads up when you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Kind of like cryptic. But when I say it's been it went down to minus 24. So I'm going to convert that for you guys, because I don't speak Americanish, and I have this nice little converter for me, so I don't have to math it. I know Jack can do this, and I'm impressed that you can do that, but I'm not doing that. It's minus 12 Fahrenheit.
That is too cold.
It is so cold that even Jussie Smollett wouldn't go outside for a sandwich. It's 2 degrees colder than when he went out for a sandwich. But I'm just telling you that probably is going to go to New York. It probably is. Like, we've had a weird year for weather. That's going to be bad.
It's not the coldest it's ever been. It's been minus 19 here. But that's pretty close.
It's also when you're not really set up for it where you really kind of become concerned. Like, I would still be pissed about them putting them up in the high school. At what point do you not just like go, the problem is that you're keeping them here. Send them home. Yeah. I don't care if you want to call me racist. If you are not in a place of position to do the things that you've promised to people, pay for their ticket and send them home. You cannot live here. We don't have a place for you to live. Like,
yeah, I think border control has got to be a lot stricter than it is.
If you guys are lucky, it won't be that bad. Like, I don't know. Like, for us, it really doesn't hit us until February. But if it's starting to go down now, we could reach anywhere from minus 34 to minus 37. And that for you guys is minus 20.
Yeah, I have an idea for Australia's border policy, and I think this will be really good. So, you know how if a Mexican can like swim across the river, they can kind of get into America? If you can swim into Australia, I think we give you citizenship. Like, from another country, if you can swim to Australia, I reckon that's worth of citizenship. But that's the only way you get one.
Costin is blaming me for the weather. I hate to break it to you. If I had the power over the weather, there would be a permanent cloud of snow over Turner. Everywhere he went, even when he goes down to like the Bahamas.
It's 26 degrees where I am, so it is not a bad temperature at all.
I'm not opposed to freaking out the Bahamas with a bunch of snow. If I could do that, I would have. He went there for Christmas. Totally be like the one time when the Bahamas were like, okay, we're marking this on the map. We got snow. How?
And apparently Cynic nearly punched a lanky meth head looking bitch in the mouth. I'm sure he deserved it.
All right, gotta set the poll.
Yes.
And not be attacked by ruse. Let's keep your tab set.
Can the UK still send all our criminals to Australia? I will say they have the same conditions. If they can swim to Australia, then we'll accept them.
Yeah, kind of like that, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I think that should be the citizenship test. If you can swim, and it only has to be from like Indonesia. We're not going to make it unfair. If you can get from Indonesia to Australia with no boats, just swimming, okay, I think you've earned it. So Johnny says it's 9 divided by minus 13 here. So
Yeah.
I don't know what that works out to be, but it's got to be like half a degree.
All right, pulls out, guys. Go ahead and place your bets.
Yes. This is a difficult decision. I think I'll go with Stacy's mom.
Well, that's funny. I just got a cold warning. Minus 24 is cold, but it's not that bad. I don't need a cold warning for that.
Okay. He's clarifying, even though I was joking. But yes, 9 divided by minus 13 is actually minus 4. But what he meant was 9 Fahrenheit minus 13 Celsius. Minus anything when it comes to temperature is too cold.
Yeah.
Like single digits in Celsius is too cold. Never mind going below 0. If you can't even hit 10 degrees, it's too cold.
Well, I'm just saying a lot of the people who've migrated here aren't honestly used to that. They're not even used to, like, I know that, like, I'm not saying anyone there is from the desert, but my understanding is overnight the desert can be fucking cold.
Yeah.
During the winter, that just doesn't stop. Like, that doesn't stop. You don't have anything to warm you up, and it doesn't stop. If you don't have a way to take shelter.
Oh yeah, the desert is not a nice place to live. Don't go there. Cannibalistic Wizard says it's 37 Fahrenheit here, which I don't know what that is in Celsius, but that's like got to be close to 0 because 32 is 0, isn't it?
Right, and this is above 37. It's 5 above, so it'd probably be like 2 Celsius.
That's too cold.
Yeah, it is too cold.
Yeah, if you bundle up, it's okay. You can do it, but like it's like I was grumbling about last week because it was up and down with this stuff, and the minute it starts dropping in temperature, when you have to go out and deal with it, it's just so much more exhausting.
Johnny says it's funny that Ashley Simpson is on this list, and she was Milli Vanilli on Saturday Night Live with that song. Most artists use a backing track.
Oh yeah, I mean,
so they just started the wrong song.
Yeah, it's not like it was back then, where Milli Vanilli got basically shamed out of the industry. Everyone does it now.
Well, everyone did it then, but nobody got caught.
Yeah.
Milli Vanilli got caught, and then Ashley Simpson got caught afterwards. So they applied the same thing to Milli Vanilli to her. But Milli Vanilli never sang their own music, where she actually did, but they started the wrong song.
See, I don't know who Ashley Simpson is. I remember hearing about
It's Jessica Simpson's little sister.
Okay. But no, I do remember hearing about the Saturday Night Live thing. I couldn't have told you what song or which performer, but I did hear about someone getting caught on Saturday Night Live doing the Milli Vanilli trick.
Yeah, well, see, the Milli Vanilli trick is Milli Vanilli just mouthed the words. She actually sang it. You can actually hear her voice and the backing track. They're basically the harmonies to the song. She sings the melody. In the studio, she sings the melody and the harmonies. But live, she has the backing track or the harmonies are pre-recorded, and she sings the melody.
Well, she can't really do both while she's live.
Yeah, so she got kind of pigeonholed because Milli Vanilli had recently done it the wrong way. So when she did it in a similar way, everyone was like, "Oh, she's just as bad as them." Well, not really. You know,
Yeah, I
if
think
you watch Bieber, watch him go out and sing, half the time he stops and dances and his voice is still being played.
Yeah.
The microphone's not even near his mouth. It's next to his side because he's busy dancing. So
I just found her really whiny.
he was.
Like she wasn't nearly as talented as her sister.
She's bratty.
And then every time it just felt like she was pushing this whole I'm not competing with my sister, but at the same time I totally am.
Yeah.
And I'm being a total asshole about it. But she just isn't as talented as her sister. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about either of you.
It was a different type of music too, because her sister was all ballads and shit like that, and Ashley was doing all, 14-year-old Taylor Swift kind of music.
See, I'll be honest, I don't know anything about Jessica Simpson either. I know what she looks like. I remember the name and the face, but I couldn't tell you anything that she's famous for.
She had a better voice. Like she had a decent enough voice.
She
but
did.
she I don't know. I think she fell to the trap that a lot of them do. Like they just kind of run around and don't think twice about what they're doing.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I think she was sleeping around, which no, that's not a good idea.
Generally not.
Never a good idea. But I don't know. Like I think they peddle a lot of drugs to those girls. Like I think she was high most of the time.
Jessica Simpson is known for her problem with discerning chicken from tuna. That's her big deal.
Yes, I remember that.
But no, I thought she was talented enough. I just didn't give enough shits about her music to give a shit about her sister. And then her sister was just like, you are the most annoying person. I would, I would feel bad for you as a sibling if I had to be, but I'd be annoyed by you.
I think anyone who uses I'm related to this other famous person as a qualification, I'm already not liking you.
There's a lot of nepotism in Hollywood, though.
Yeah, there is.
Even people who try not to still get pigeonholed. There's nothing they can really do about it.
Like Nicolas Cage, even though he doesn't use the name Coppola, the fact that he's related to Francis Ford Coppola has definitely helped his career.
Emilio Estevez?
Yeah. Charlie Sheen. So,
right.
Like Charlie Sheen has the name, but like just the fact that he's related to Martin Sheen is like, well, let's be extra nice to Martin's kids.
Right. So it's a thing. It's a known thing. But it's not even just in Hollywood. You see it in pro sports, all kinds of stuff. There's a guy playing for the Bears. His last name is Singletary. It's a famous last name because his father was a famous football player, and he's a football player. You think he's not capitalizing on that? You bet your ass he is. Look at Kelsey and his brother.
Just like all of Will Smith's kids ended up in movies.
J.J. Watt and T.J. Watt. Tell me there isn't some kind of resemblance with those two. I mean, it's everywhere. It's nepotism.
Yeah. Well, as I say, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And if you're related to someone who's already a big name in the industry, that's opening quite a few doors for you, whether you want it to or not.
I got my first real job through nepotism.
Every single job I've ever gotten has been through nepotism.
Yeah, my dad worked for U.S. Steel with another guy, and that guy's son worked for a government office in New Jersey. So I got a job in that government office reporting to him before I even walked in the door. He hadn't even met me, not talked to me on the phone, nothing. I walked up and I said, "Hi, I'm Hammer. I'm here for." He says, "Well, welcome aboard." I was like, "Welcome aboard?" You don't even have my social security number. What are you talking about? So,
yeah, I mean, I still had to interview, but my job at the club, basically, my dad worked at the club, and he was like, "Hey, my son needs a job. You got anything for him?" And then when I worked for the bank, my uncle worked there. He's like, "Hey, give this kid a try," and they did. So I got the job. And then my third job was working for my cousin. Like my cousin owned the company. So I was like, okay, well, obviously there was nepotism involved in that.
Johnny said a recording of her singing "Pieces of Me" started playing, but the band was playing a different song. The drummer was in charge of starting the music for everyone to play to. They had played her first hit, and when it was time to play her second hit, he played the first hit again.
Oh God.
Yeah, so they couldn't play the same song twice. So she just kind of bounced around and skipped around on stage and then walked off stage.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that was that. And then they cut to a commercial. So
I'm going to
yeah,
look
I
up
saw that
picture
live.
because I don't know what she looks like.
She's just a young bratty kid. 16, 17, something like that at the time. Long brown hair,
Okay.
kind of a big nose.
Yeah, I can see the resemblance to Jessica.
I think that's really what tanked her. Like, she
Oh,
had
yeah.
such an attitude problem that it was just like, no one gives a shit about who your sister is if you're going to be a dick.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like, even with the fail, like, there are other artists who've failed before, but it's really about how you recover. And that, I mean, you watched it. Like, did she look like she recovered okay? Or did she kind of just look like, oh, I've been fucked over?
Yeah.
Yeah. What she should have done is stopped it, turned around, told him, play the right song. And then played the music and sung to it. And made sure that when she sung to it, she made it clear that it was her voice singing. So that people would know, well, that's just a backing track. And she could even say that after the song's over. I appreciate you staying with us. We started the wrong backing track. That's the melodies. On the melodies, that was the harmonies you were hearing. She could have cleared it up, but she's a young kid. You know, she don't know any better.
Yeah. I don't know anything about the Simpson family except for the yellow ones.
They're not. They really kind of faded away in that time period too. You really don't hear much about the Simpsons anymore. So
it was
the Simpsons, to be honest.
It was kind of a running gag, and I think that might just be that part of the media at the time. That Jessica would not Jessica, Ashley would cry to her parents if she didn't get her way. And if she didn't get her way, then we weren't allowed to see Jessica anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I know maybe she just went private in her life. Like, who knows? Maybe she had kids or something.
Maybe.
A lot of people private themselves when they have kids, and then you don't hear about them anymore because they have kids and they don't want you to.
Well, that's what happened with what's her face? The girl from the what was it? Out of the Blue? She was in a Marvel movie before it was Marvel. The Fantastic Four, the woman, the chick. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Real pretty.
Yeah, I know who you mean. I can't remember her name though. I should, but I can't.
She started a company and then had babies, and she got out of acting entirely.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. Jessica Alba.
Yeah.
Yeah. That happens a lot. Terry Farrell did the same thing from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. In her 7th year she didn't come back for her 7th year, had babies, got out of acting almost entirely. She still goes to conventions and stuff like that, but she's completely out of acting.
It's funny that you say from Deep Space Nine, because I know the actress from Becca. She's Reggie, the girl that But like that's the only place I've ever seen her, because obviously I don't watch Star Trek.
Right.
So like when you said Terry Farrell, my mind was like, oh, Reggie from Becca, and then you said from Deep Space Nine. I was like, oh yeah, she was in that too, wasn't she?
Yeah. What else do we have in the list to chat about? Did you want to? You didn't really want to talk about the tunnels, did you?
No.
No, I mean, it was funny to mention as a joke because it's funny. It's just funny. It's like finding out you really do have alligators.
There was that guy on Twitter who said, like last year sometime, that there's Jews living under his house, and then he's like finally got proven correct. But I don't know if that was a real tweet, if that was fake.
They literally are. Really? No, really.
Because the guy's name is Richard Stroker, so that sounds like a fake name.
Great name. Great name. I know what his pastime is. Well, I guess we can talk about the migrant deal with the kids getting pushed out of schools. That's in New York City. I think it was in maybe the Bronx
Okay.
or something. But
Yeah.
apparently we've sent enough migrants to New York City that they're running out of room, and it's cold. So they're trying to find places to put them that they don't freeze to death.
If only they hadn't declared themselves a sanctuary city, none of this would have happened.
Yeah.
It's also the city management and the way they handle their money is retarded.
Oh,
like
yeah.
when they explained what they were doing for holiday meals for people, like they were outsourcing meals that were much more expensive than if they'd just gone with the standard. And they're like, well, they've never had turkey before. You're living in North America. Guess what? The meat sources that you have here are what you have here. Turkey's cheap. Like, are you kidding me? And then you're complaining you can't house them. I'm like, well, if you could actually figure out how to budget yourself without being an idiot. If all you have to give somebody is beans, they get beans. I know that sounds mean.
No, I think just in general, like living by a budget is a lost skill. Like it doesn't seem like anyone is able to do it anymore.
Like, no,
like they want things. They want things when they want them. They're not willing to save up. They're just like, fuck it, I'll get it on credit.
Like I'm not saying like that. I'm saying it lightly. Like I would hate it if the thing I hated the worst was beans, but the only thing I had to eat was beans. But like that's kind of how it is when you're on a budget.
Yeah, look, if that's all you can afford, that's what you eat.
So I don't like hearing that shit from them. Like when they talk like that, and you're like, you're not living in reality, are you? Because like it's gonna get worse. The food shortages are gonna get worse.
Oh yeah. They're like just living on a budget on a personal scale. Now, like amplify that to a city or a state level, and then you can see why things start falling apart.
Yeah, we are screwed.
Yeah, well, New York definitely is.
Oh, we also brought over a bunch of people who might actually be into eating people. You know, I don't know. I'm joking now. I don't know if that's true, but you know,
zombies are upon us.
Maybe
I think it's pretty terrible that they're doing the COVID thing all over again and screwing over kids by messing with their schooling. Let kids go to school. They kind of need that.
Yeah, they need to. Yeah, they do. It does screw over the parents too, who now have to figure out a way to make sure their kids are okay at home because they can't just leave them at home.
Well, that requires everyone else to change the way they live because of migrants. And I'm sorry, but that's wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not atypical for Democrats to put Americans last. And that's why Trump became who he was. Because he put America first. It's right in his motto. Make America great again. So
I would say that, like, as much as people don't want to agree that they've asked for this, they have. You keep voting for it. You keep not thinking about what it's actually about. And it's being done from a level of ignorance. Like, the southern states have been dealing with this shit for years.
But you just reminded me of like the dumbest tweet thread I saw in a long time, where someone was saying about raising the minimum wage, and like they're saying people say it's going to make the prices go up, but the prices are going up anyway. Why not make some money out of it? It's like, okay, so you want to be unemployed while all the prices are skyrocketing? That's a plan. Because when you raise the minimum wage, if you're not bringing that new value to your employer, you're probably not going to keep your job. And it's like no, the minimum wage hasn't gone up in forever. The prices are going up anyway. Checkmate. It's like, that's not what's causing the price. government hadn't printed trillions of dollars, you probably wouldn't be seeing those price increases.
Yeah, and then giving away a whole, trillions more to another country.
Yeah, but it's like they're so economically illiterate that they legitimately think that you raise the minimum wage and that just means more money for everyone with no other consequences.
I don't know. I don't know how we're going to get out of this, because tightening the belt, I don't think tightening the belt's gonna do it.
No.
How do you get out of inflation? You raise interest rates. Now nobody can find a place to live.
Yeah.
It's also everybody who demanded that we influx a great group of people into countries when we're short on housing to begin with. Like, I don't know how it is in the US. I think you guys are patchy state by state, just the same as we are. But up here, we really do have a housing crisis. It's been severe for a while. So when they say hotels, like some of the hotels that I've heard they're hitching people up to are so old. Like, they're so old that you're wondering if they were still using like newspaper as like wall filler.
No. I'll tell you how to fix the situation. Learn to speak Arabic, because it'll come in handy in the next 10, 20 years.
Well, if it's not Arabic, it'll be Chinese.
Chinese.
And if it's not Chinese, it'll be some South African country that I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking it'll be the Muslims, but
Yeah.
learn Arabic or Chinese. Pick whichever one you think, but that should be your plan for the future.
Well, let's see what happens, but I don't really see a way to recover from this.
No.
I think this is going to be long term. I'm talking at least 5 years before we start seeing any kind of
Oh,
relief.
longer than that. I think the damage is pretty severe. And like the cultural shift means that people don't want the kind of steps needed to fix it. People don't want them. They still want all the luxuries of a country in abundance, but you can't afford them. And so if you keep printing money to try, you're just making the problem worse.
People are living on credit, and that's just going to kill them.
Yeah, it is.
It's why I'm kind of excited to see what Milan is doing in Argentina. His Afueno, where he's like he's firing everybody that doesn't need to. Like he's got
Malali, right? That's his name.
Yeah. Javier.
I'm really excited to see what he's doing, because if they can see that, actually, you guys have been retarded for a really long time. I think it is. I think what he's doing is kind of changing minds down there. Like, I can't remember all the articles that they played tonight, but the AAA had was it the AAA or P-Dog? One of the two. No. But they were playing a couple of the videos from South America, and it's not just Venezuela. Like, I think Ecuador was up in flames. There was a couple of countries that were really rioting, like really, really like, no, this is not right. And
there's one thing that guy said that does kind of concern me, where he wanted to move away from whatever currency they've got in Argentina and go onto the US dollar. But I kind of think that gives the US too much control over Argentina. Like, all of his plans to afuera the government might come to a grinding halt if the US gets to dictate,
Yes, that's true.
Policies to him. Or not dictate policies, but economically pressure him into policies.
Yeah, basically.
Well, we're going to be looking to Argentina to see how we fix our own system.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Team Afuera all the way. I love that guy. He's awesome. I don't understand a word he's saying, but I already love him.
Right? Like, all I've seen them really do is trash talk him for his hair. I'm like,
yeah,
like, okay.
That's the rest I've got. Adam says Vivek was saying he would do the same thing kind of on this evening. Well, bring on Vivek then. Afuera the whole government.
Yeah. no offense to Trump, I would like to see him finish his run, but that might not happen. If they do interfere with his election, the only reason I stand firm on that one is because it's undemocratic. It's so unbelievably undemocratic. It's just it would put a precedent that would change everything for everybody, not just you guys. Believe it or not, other countries like mine would take a look at that and be like, "We'll see if they can do it." I would be afraid living up here if I saw you guys do that. I'd be terrified. I would be. I'd be like, oh, okay. So any chance in the future of any future leader, we're going to be stuck with Trudeau for forevermore because all he has to do is make shit up. Okay.
How's Australia doing with all this?
I don't really know. I don't pay enough attention to my own country. I think the current Prime Minister is a complete knobhead, but I think both parties are kind of too far left for my liking. So even the Liberal Party, which is kind of our equivalent to the Republicans, is a bunch of leftists. So I think Australia's fucked. I don't think there's much hope. There's no real right-wing representation. I vote for One Nation, which is like in the 90s, they were labeled the racist party. It's like in 2024, the racist party sounds perfect. You have my vote.
Well, it's affecting everybody. I mean, it's global. So we're all getting it. I just don't know. How much it's affecting.
We'll never see Prime Minister Pauline, unfortunately, but I think it'd be interesting to get Pauline Hanson, the leader of One Nation, into the top job.
Well, it is 10 bells, or almost 10 bells.
So only 2 in the afternoon for me. So.
Yeah. I know that you're the times between us keep changing. The times they are changing. So this is still early for you. So you started to stream an hour earlier than this. So would you just wake up and get on stream?
It was 1 in the afternoon when 12:30 in the afternoon when we went on live on Rumble.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister Diamantis, stay inside 2024. Hey, that is a great policy, and I will happily.
It worked for Biden, right?
Yeah.
80 million votes, never even left his house. All right. Well, I'm going to get out of here unless you guys have something else.
No,
I'm good.
Really.
Cynic is saying the Nationals are our Republicans, but they're in a coalition with the Liberals. I tend to forget that the Liberals and Nationals technically aren't the same party, but he's right.
All right. Song is a little quiet. Whatever. Thanks, fam, as always, for chatting with us tonight. If you can't wait for the next Wednesday's show, remember, the Minions are live every evening, including weekends, with most shows starting around 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. Post and start times are linked in the description down below. I always point at my crotch at that point. Don't forget about the Rumble pre-show. That stream starts generally half an hour before YouTube. We will be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as usual. I hope you guys enjoy the show, and we'll see you again next week. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.